There was an old, forgotten house at the edge of town. Its windows were blackened with dust, its doors warped and swollen with time. No one dared to live there, not because it was falling apart, but because everyone swore the house breathed. At night, if you stood close enough, you could hear faint whispers seeping through the cracks, as though the walls themselves were alive. Inside that house sat a doll, porcelain skin cracked in spider veins, one glassy eye missing, the other clouded like smoke. Her faded dress clung to her frail body, and her stiff smile never changed. But she wasn't just any toy. She had been cursed. Long ago, she belonged to a little girl who had died tragically in the house. The girl's grief-stricken mother, dabbling in forbidden rituals, trapped her daughter's spirit inside the doll, believing it would preserve her child. But the spell twisted. The spirit was no longer a child. It became something hungry, vengeful, waiting. For years, the doll sat in silence until she found company. In the dark cellar, beneath rotting beams, lived a skeleton mouse. Its tiny bones clicked together as it scurried, hollow eye sockets glowing faintly. Somehow, it moved without life, bound to the same curse as the doll. They became companions in the shadows, the doll and the bone mouse, whispering to each other in a language no human ear could understand. Together they plotted. When trespassers entered, the doll would lure them with faint laughter, always sounding like a child at play. The mouse would scuttle behind, scratching at the walls, leading victims deeper. Once inside the parlor, the house would shut its doors. No one ever left. Locals told stories about teenagers daring each other to sneak in, only for their screams to echo for hours before vanishing. About wanderers who disappeared near the woods. The doll collected their voices, their cries stitched into her porcelain cracks, her face warping just slightly with each new victim. One stormy night, a group of curious ghost hunters arrived, cameras flashing, eager to expose the myth. They laughed at the dust, joked about the smell, but soon, the air shifted. The doll was waiting for them on the mantel. Her one cloudy eye blinked. One by one, their equipment failed. Red dots of recording lights turned black. The skeletal mouse climbed the walls, bones rattling like teeth chattering. Shadows stretched unnaturally, slithering along the floors. The hunters realized too late there was no escape. The last recording ever found cut off mid-scream, but not before capturing a child's voice whispering, "Stay and play forever." The next morning, the house looked as lifeless as ever. But if you dared to peek through the cracked window, you would see the doll sitting still, dress a little less faded, smile a little wider. On her lap rested the skeleton mouse, tail curling around her fingers. And in the silence of the room, you'd swear you could hear breathing. No one lives long enough to tell what happens if you stay inside after midnight. But some say if you walk by on a moonless night, you can hear faint tapping on the glass, as though tiny porcelain hands are knocking, begging you to come closer. And if you do, you'll see your own reflection inside her single glass eye, trapped forever.